Hello everyone, welcome to CanQuest. So today's Hindu newspaper, we are analyzing it um, by highlighting the important news. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you like the video and you are reading the Hindu with me. So first news: Covishield Covaxin mix gives better protection. So first dose, take Covishield, then Covaxin. So that is a new finding. Okay, 18% from UP who advertently got the combination were studied. So those who received different vaccines also showed superior immunogenicity against the Delta variants. Study to open schools. It's also got and human rights at risk police stations by CJ. Okay, economic blockade of Mizoram lifted. We have seen news many times. Wait, Taliban seized three more Afghan cities. So see it in the map of the world. Its location. Which are the things? Okay. So these are the news in the first page. So let's read that. Combination of Covishield, Covaxin elicits better immunogenicity than two doses of the same vaccine. That's what they say. Immunization with a combination of an adenovirus vector platform based vaccine followed by an inactivated whole virus vaccine was not only safe but also elicited better immunogenicity. So, learn these terms. mm, Two vaccines. Safety and antibody response of the group. Okay. In Ramana flags, routine custodial torture is happening. If we want to remain as a society governed by the rule of law, it is imperative for us to bridge the gap of accessibility to justice between the highly privileged and the most vulnerable. For all times to come, we must remember that the realities of socioeconomic diversities which prevail in our nation cannot ever be a reason for denial of rights. Okay. Highest threat to human rights and dignity, which are sacrosanct, especially in police station. Custodial torture and police atrocities are on a rise. Okay. This part of the syllabus, police reforms, GS2. It's poor and vulnerable. Mizoram issue, economic blockade was lifted. It's on Mizoram issue we have already discussed. Thailapur is the last town near border with Mizoram. Thailapur. Contract marriage. Lightning offensive appears. Which are the cities under Taliban? Provincial capital. Okay, see the cities Kunduz, Saripur, Talokan in the north fell within hours. So many Kunduz, except Kabul. It's under. Just read the headlines. It is DDMA Delhi disaster. First animal DNA lab. World Tribal Day. Tribal legacies through empowering policies. Chhattisgarh is one of the leading states. Nandi government malaria mukti. Proactive pro people. This good. Odisha government go ahead for coastal highway. Okay. Do not intersect any logically sensitive area. Need to increase marriageable age of girls 21 years. Rest will help to stop exploitation. Say in a meeting to increase the age girls getting married. So Odisha Coastal Highway project. Pass in the vicinity of various it has ecological concerns. Lado Panchayats. Selfie with the Doctor Foundation. Haryana, where sex ratio is very less. So coming to the editorial, there is Afghanistan. പിന്നെ മതി ഇപ്പൊ വേണ്ട Class of history in Afghanistan. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, looking glass of history in Afghanistan. So the recent Afghan Taliban issue. Then the tightrope walk. So this useful one and economy. We should not undermine its credibility. Delaying steps to remove which then revisit the idea of aging out India's coal plants. Then the sovereign right to tax is not absolute. The many hurdles for students. All the articles are important. Today's editorial. Okay. The reason for US failure is no different from that of the Soviets. India too can hardly impact around situation by Vivek Kachchu. Great game in Afghanistan. Rajiv Gandhi, General Zia, and the unending war. Successfully combined the Mujahideen groups were based in Pakistan. Russia support from the it's about the Afghan history. You can read about it. To then these approaches and the Indian initiative, the Indian efforts happen in Afghanistan today. All the appropriate diplomatic noises India may make real capacity to impact the ground situation of Afghanistan. Let's revisit the idea of aging out India's coal plants. Nationally determined contributions. Important one. Article. Those to buy benefits. Analysis risk with the retirement. Say that no old man should be retired, however. See, age as the only lever to drive this decision. Okay. In tightrope work, RPA. So taking steps to control inflation. Policy benchmark interest rates low. And the headline and core. The headline is more volatile. Inflation expectations. Inflation targeting by the MPC. Okay. And remain soon later to bite the bullet, start normalizing the rates of loans to avoid undermining its own credibility by delaying steps to rein in inflation. Then with BIT, what is BIT? Challenge taxation index proportion and fair and equitable treatment. Carving and taxation measures from the BIT does not mean that states are free to do as they please. It is also GS3, PIT. Many hurdles for students. Indian students studying overseas. Okay. Diaspora issues and challenges of COVID-19 pandemic and education also linked with foreign exchange. Many students issues. Okay, to the eighth page. IR issue. Use of plastic national flag. Okay. And Putin to join Modi UNSC debate. So it's the first Prime Minister India's Modi became the president of the meeting. They holds the presidency of council for the month and tension. So it's very crucial. And debate on maritime security. He will be participating through video conferencing. Okay, everything got highlighted, right? That's what happened. It's not needed. Then political news are there. Option not limited by religion by Delhi High Court. That's we can look upon more. Okay. ITBP index first women officers on combat service, internal security. Missouri, women officers, Indo-Tibetan border force. Then IR base, there is Afghan forces fighting to retake the cities. We said the three cities, Shadaikundu, Saripal, and Talokan in the north, Afghanistan. In Myanmar, protesters mark 1988 uprising anniversary. Aung San Suu Kyi to pro-democracy pricing. The coup is going on. Hezbollah is in Lebanon. Hezbollah. And even slams child marriages after Zimbabwean ties in labor. That's also we can look into. Then location, Greece. Okay. So these are the important news. The economy page. No, nothing. Okay. Coming to this one. UN slams child marriage. Right. Okay. Before that, let's see some facts. An Indo-Tibetan border force. And there is island of Evia, where island of Helia, also known as Euboea, second largest Greek island in India, separated from Lucia in mainland Greece by the narrow Euripus Strait, because raging wildfires. Okay. Let's say the news. Greece, right? Yeah, Greek island. Which one? Abia. Avia. Island of Avia. It's called location thing. Then ITBP. Right. What is ITBP? First, two women officers, Prakriti and Diksha, in combat recently. They started recruiting women combat officers. So first you can see that news. Yeah. Um, Started recruiting women. Started from 2016 through All India examination conducted by UPSC. Before this, it had combat women only in constabulary ranks. Now they have, okay, then officer rank, Central Armed Force of Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. And what's the job? India's primary border patrol organization on its border with China's Tibet Autonomous Region. And Indo-Tibetan Border Force Act 1992. Okay, this for films. Then NIA. There was another news on NIA. That is also constituted under the NIA Act 2008. Okay. Central Counter-Terrorism Law Enforcement Agency. We also talked about it earlier. It is empowered to deal with terror-related crimes across states without special permission from the states. What about terrorism, counter-terrorism? NIA Act 2008. Ministry of Home Affairs. Then there was amendments to it, and empowers NIA to probe terror attack targeting Indians and Indian interest abroad. That is NIA. Then Pensilga Glacier. Okay. It is located in Sanskar, Ladakh, and Silguppa Glacier. It is retreating due to an increase in the temperature and decrease in precipitation during winters. Sanskar Range, if you look at the map, it is in Ladakh. Sanskar from Ladakh. Geologically, Sanskar Range is part of the Tathas Himalaya. Tathas sea got submerged and Himalaya got formed in the Sanskar and Marbal Pass connect Ladakh with Kashmir around this area. And Soji Pass from northwest of Sanskar Range. Okay, so these are the plains perspective. Let's move to the GS. One, right? Which one? Society section. This child marriage issue. Welcome. UN slams child marriages. For means as well as means. For means, this one is important. Let's see the concerns associated and the causes or the impact of this child marriages. Okay, the context is UN has condemned underage forced marriages in Zimbabwe following the death of a 14-year-old girl reportedly during childbirth. Sparked widespread anger on social media and child rights activists. In Zimbabwe, what is happening? perpetrated against women and girls, including marriage of minors, matter of concern. Okay, അവിടെ ഭയങ്കര ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്. And officials said that 1 in 3 Zimbabwean girls are married off before age of 18. Across the world, if you look into the statistics, 12 million per year girls married in childhood. Across the globe, highest in sub-Saharan Africa, then where 35% young women were married before age 18. Then second position South Asia, 30%. Then lower levels in Latin America and Caribbean, Middle East, North Africa, where this is not very high. Latin America, Caribbean, Middle East, North Africa, Eastern Europe, Central Asia. Ditto. Higher in Sub-Saharan and South Asia. And UN efforts 1979 convention. Okay. On the elimination of discrimination against women provides that the betrothal and marriage of a child have no legal effect. 1964 Convention on Consent to Marry. Minimum age for marriage and registration of marriages says that states parties to the present shall take legislative action. Minimum age and right to free and full consent to marriage. UDHR. Although marriage is not mentioned directly in the Convention on the Rights of the Child, right, marriage is linked to other rights. Freedom of expression, right to protection from all other forms of abuse, right to protect harmful traditional practices. 2016, UNICEF together with the UNFPA, global program to end child marriage, elimination of child, early and forced marriage. Target 5, gender equality. Okay. Yeah. Concerns marriage before the age of 18 is a fundamental violation of human rights. The practice is more common among girls than boys. Violation of rights, regardless of sex. Then, often compromises girls' development by resulting in early pregnancy, social isolation, interrupting her schooling and limiting her opportunities to career and vocational advancement. Then threatens their lives and deaths. Experience domestic violence and less likely to remain in school. They often get pregnant during adolescence and risk of complications during pregnancy and childbirth increases for themselves but also for their infants. It impacts girls' health and substantial economic cost at the national level. Major implications for development, prosperity. Then future acceleration without vision. Marry before their 18th by 2030. More than 120 million additional girls will marry. We didn't do something. So the reasons, many factors. Okay, poverty and perception will give them protection, then family honor, social norms, customary or religious laws that condone the practice, legislative framework, and the state of the country's civil registration system. Which are the laws in India? Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929, Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. Okay. And what needs to be done the way forward? Increase social awareness. Children needs to be made aware about their human rights and must be taught to refuse, say no, speak once such incident takes place. Media needs to adopt proactive role in awareness towards this heinous ritual, changing social norms and attitude towards girls, strong legal and policy system, imparting value-based education, students, mm, Sakshi Malik, Deepa Karmakar, PV Sindhu, all got success in their field and parents seek inspiration in their achievements and inform the respective child development project officers to stop child marriage. Okay, can I add more? Any other thing if you feel, please do comment things to stop child marriage. Okay, so these are the things can be done. Hezbollah, Afghan, Myanmar, ETPP, I already said. Yeah, adoption. JJ Act. There is a scheme also. Mm, PM Dakshta और कौशल्या संपन्न हितग्राही PM Daksh Yojana scheme for vulnerable section GS2 government has launched PM Daksh portal and app skill development schemes accessible to backward OBCs SC Safai Karmacharis. Okay, national justice and empowerment skill development upskilling reskilling SCOBC denotified tribes, sanitation workers, transgenders, animal scavengers, other categories. Okay, into the policies. Law against forced conversion. Delhi High Court says adoption not limited by religion. Okay, judge reprimands US citizens for trying to adopt Hindu child under a wrong law. What is that? JJ Act. What's the case? Court was hearing a case where Christian couple had adopted a child under Hindu law. Christian and Muslim couples could not adopt a Hindu child under Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act. However, since the child was being well taken care of by the foster parents and their family, court said there is no cause to remove the child from the charge study. No legal issues could arise in future since the child has been adopted as per the Hindu adoptions and Datta Homa. Okay. They could not adopt under that, but no issues. Legal framework governing adoption laws. In India, adoption falls under the ambit of personal laws. Okay. due to the incidence of diverse religions practiced in the country. Maybe two different laws operate here. The Muslims, Christians, Parsis, Jews are governed under Guardians and Wards Act 1890. As formal adoption is not allowed in this religion. So, guardians and ward. It can be guardian, ward. Muslims, Christians, Parsis, Jews. In Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, and Jains, on the other hand, they follow Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. So the JJ Act also deals with adoption. So they also deals with adoption. Recently, the amendment also came in JJ Act that we already covered. So different religion could not adopt under that armor. But, that's fine. Yeah. Post conversion against. So this one is that do we need a central law against forced conversion? VHP is arguing that states such as UP and Madhya Pradesh already brought strong laws against forced conversion. And Haryana and Karnataka also their intention, because mostly the BJP-led states. The proponents say the recent events in country prove that this pan-Indian racket, hence we need this against this love jihad central law. So the rationale is threats of forceful conversion is happening and problem of inducement or allurement is also happening. Then religious conversion is not a fundamental right. So that's why they need anti-conversion laws. There are critics. Such laws have come sharp criticism by legal scholars who had contended the concept love jihad did not have any, so that has no basis legal or constitution, because Article 21 gets violated. Right to marry a person of one's choice, whoever, even it's terrorist, any religion, they can marry. So under Article 25, freedom of conscience, practice conversion, it's also guaranteed. So Supreme Court also on marriage and conversion, the apex court, various judgments. There is no justification over an adult's absolute right to choose a life partner. Then Lily Thomas and Sarla Mutkal case found that religious conversions carried out without a bona fide belief and for the sole purpose of deriving some legal benefit do not hold water. Salamat Ansari, Priyanka Karwar case. Choose live with relationship fundamental rights under Article 20. So what is the need of the law? It is need of uniformity is needed. But 18 of UDHR mention right to freedom of religion, including changing their faith. So it is a state subject. What is that? Marriage. Yeah. In framing model law like model law on contract farming, etc. States while enacting this anti-conversion laws should not put any vague or ambiguous provisions. The anti-conversion need to include provision to mention the valid steps by to conversion by minority community institution and people for the provisions these forceful conversions, inducement, allurement, etc. The uniformity is needed. Can frame. Okay. Putin. Said about child marriages. And there is Atlantic Marine. Almost it is a phenomenon. Okay. Religion, adoption, post conversion, then that scheme, Daksh, hydrogen, fuel. Okay, geography there, where we missed it. And read, don't forget to read these editorials. Okay, there is a phenomenon. AMOC, Atlantic, comes under geography, Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. It's a large system of ocean currents that carry warm water from the tropics northwards to the North Atlantic. It's a large system of ocean currents like a conveyor belt driven by differences in temperatures and salt content. Okay, as warm water flows northwards, it cools and some evaporation occurs, and which increases the amount of salt. Temperature and high salt content make the water denser. This sinks deep into the ocean. Cold, dense water slowly spreads outwards below the surface. Eventually, it gets pulled back to the surface and warms in a process of upwelling. The circulation is completed. If it gets collapsed, what happens? It increases the cooling of the northern hemisphere and sea level rise in the Atlantic and on overall fall in precipitation over Europe, North America, shift in monsoon, South America and Africa. That is AMOC, Atlantic Meridional Meridional Overturning Circulation. Sugar will carry warm water from the tropics to the North Atlantic. Okay, so context is according to a recent study, it's engine of northern hemisphere's climate will be weakening to such an it could soon bring big changes to world's weather. It's weakest more than 10 years and it has not been known what's the reason. It's a dose of stability. Okay. So yeah, that's all for today. So just read this and know the history of Afghanistan, why US failed and then Soviets failed and the whole world is failing before Afghanistan. It's very very important. Okay, see you next day. Till then, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.